Lawin Media Network.
Bringing to you the most relevant content across all platforms.
Business, legal, politics, health, lifestyle, and entertainment.
Your source for all the news and updates in the greater Houston community, from Texas and all over the world.
Get informed and empowered with Lawin Media Network.
The following program is produced by Lawin Media Network. The views and opinions expressed in this program are solely those of the individuals appearing on the show and do not necessarily reflect the views and opinions of Lawin Media Network, its affiliates, sponsors, or partners. The information provided in this episode is for general informational purposes only and may not reflect the current law in your state or country. No information contained in this episode should be construed as legal advice. You are advised to seek legal counsel concerning your legal question or concern from a lawyer licensed in your state, country, or appropriate licensing jurisdiction.
Yan. All right. Kamusta?
Kamusta, Christian?
Ayos lang, ayos lang. What have you been up to since last month?
Oh, it's been a month.
It's a lot. What's going on?
Well, there's a lot of things you've been doing for
Mhm.
the last 30 days.
Wow. Yeah. Like, is there like a lot of changes or like a lot of adjusting, or is it like same grinds ever since?
Oh, there's always going to be new challenges
Mm.
and the usual challenges in our profession. And the same to you, right?
Yeah. There's a lot of changes, good ones. So thank God. But yeah, welcome again to Legal Treats with Attorney Aileen and me, Christian. And why don't you remind us why we're doing this? Like your advocacy for like justice for all.
Christian is always asking me this every episode.
Reminders, a
Yeah,
reminder.
reminders. Yeah, of course, this is my treats for you. We call it legal treats because it's public information, legal knowledge that we are sharing with the public for free, so that if you don't know the law, you're not excused for not knowing the law. So you need to know the law, and plus it helps when you are faced with some legal challenges. I know that Google University will always be there, but be careful with the information you're getting from Google because they're not accredited university. So you're gonna have to take those information with grain of salts, and of course a lot of research.
Yeah, I feel like sa Google kasi, di ba, parang it's like getting legal advice from Google is also like getting medical advice from Google. Like it always tells you like, oh, it's cancer. Automatically it's cancer. If you ask for legal advice, automatically you're probably guilty. If you get your legal advice from Google, you're probably guilty.
Well, it's just like if you have a toothache,
Mm.
right? How are you gonna deal with that? Are you gonna go to a physical therapist? A physical therapist could be giving advice there on YouTube, right? But
Mhm.
definitely you're gonna go to the dentist who is a professional and certified to give advice, whatever it is. Like for example, if it's a medical field, if it is legal
Mhm.
field, if it is science, if it
Yeah.
is about astronomy, of course you're not gonna ask um, a businessman if it's about
Mhm.
astronomy, right? So punta ka sa astronomist, ganon. So
Yeah.
at least you get your legal knowledge from those who are from the professionals or
Mhm.
practicing that kind of field.
And na-appreciate ko to kasi for us immigrants, we came from a country na iba ang batas, not exactly the same. Maybe there's like some similarities, but not exactly the same. So this is nice, a nice way to like let us know that hey, there's different laws here, especially in Texas. So if you're new here, let us know so we can help you out if you have any questions or any legal issues, right?
Yeah, and you're right, Christian. You know, sometimes meron ka mga na-encounter na legal problems or,
Mm-hmm.
or legal inquiries, ganyan. Syempre gusto mong malaman yung sagot na tama, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Hindi yung sagot na chamba-chamba lang. O kaya naman, yung situation mo may be different from my situation.
Mm-hmm.
So, hindi ko pwedeng i-apply yung ginawa mo, di
True.
ba? So, you have to seek the help of the professionals, legal professionals, na practicing within your jurisdiction. Kasi nga katulad ng sabi ni Christian, ang batas ay iba-iba. Dito sa US, mayroon tayong tinatawag na federal laws, meron din tayong tinatawag na state laws. So, syempre, pag federal, ang applicability niyan ay all over the US, 51 states. Pero yung state law, o mga state laws natin, specific lang yun sa state. Let's say, for example, yung state law natin dito sa Texas is different naman sa California, sa Florida, ganyan. And of course, sa ibang bansa, like in the
Mm-hmm.
Philippines. There may be some similarities, but hindi laging pareho. So you
Mm-hmm.
need to know. Kaya you have to seek the help of the legal professionals practicing in your jurisdiction.
All
Right?
right. Before we move on, before we forget, thank you if you're watching live from Facebook or YouTube or stream.lawin.live. And if you do miss this episode, you could still have it recorded. It's still recorded on Facebook and YouTube, and also on different podcast platforms: Spotify, Amazon, Pandora, Stitcher, anywhere you get your podcast, it's there. So yeah.
Yeah, kasi lahat tayo mahilig tayo mag-multitask eh. We
Mm-hmm.
understand that maybe at this time you're still driving
Mm-hmm.
down there and so you don't have time to watch the live show. You can always watch the recorded live show doon sa mga sinabi ni Christian sa
Mm-hmm.
podcast, okay naman sa YouTube or Facebook page ng Lawin Media Network. Kaya thank you Lawin Media Network, ang ating producer. And sa mga nanonood dyan, feel free to comment, to post your greetings,
Mm-hmm.
to
Mm-hmm.
ask questions
Oh yeah.
because we're gonna read them during the show. Kaya kung meron kayong tanong na related sa ating topic for tonight, itanong nyo na yan. And huwag nyo
Yeah.
itatanong last 5 minutes ng show or after ng show dahil hindi na namin masasabi na masasagot pa namin yan. We will try our best to answer your inquiries the best week.
All right. So last season or last few episodes we had will and estate planning. Anong topic natin ngayon?
Well, we've been doing estate planning for the past how many episodes? 6,
A
5?
lot. Yes, I
Yeah.
think 6. Yeah.
Yeah. So actually, there's a lot more topics that we can talk about estate planning. We haven't even touched trust and all that. We may go
Mm.
back to that one later on, but there is actually a request that we talk about divorce. So that's what we're gonna
Oh,
talk
sino kaya
about.
nag-request nito?
Secret, confidential information. I'm a family law attorney here in the state of Texas, and part of that is, divorce. And under divorce, then custody, and we call it conservatorship here in the state of Texas. In the Philippines, it's called custody, and of course, child support, and
Mm.
yung division of assets ng mag-asawa. So we will cover them, but not all of them tonight. So we're just gonna talk about overview and some important details. If you really you're interested in filing for a divorce here in the state of
Mhm.
Texas. Katulad ng kung ikaw ay immigrant, pwede ka bang mag-file? Ano yung mga requirements? What are the things that you need to remember if you are filing for divorce
Mm.
here or you're planning to file for divorce here? Pwede ba? Yun ang
Or
number
what
one na tanong.
qualifies, 'di ba? Kung mabaho
Oo.
yung hininga ng partner mo, divorce na ba agad 'yun, 'di ba?
Grabe naman. At saka syempre when we talk about a divorce, meron kasi tayong meron mga proponent ng divorce, meron namang opposition, of course. There's always
Mm.
going to be two sides of the coin.
Mhm.
So whichever side you are, just please remember that we're talking about it not because we want it,
Mm.
not because we are promoting it, not because we are actually trying to convince you to do it. Remember that it is your own circumstance, it is your own life. What we're saying here is that a divorce is not the first solution, not the only solution, but it may be the last resort that you would, you will, it may be the last solution so that you can preserve yourself,
Mhm.
from distraction or further problem, from
Yeah.
further issues, kanyan.
And I think the conception of like, oh, divorce agad, I think it comes from mostly like, celebrities, like 2 days pa lang, divorce agad, or ilang months pa
It is their
lang.
life, their life,
Mm-hmm.
your life is different from theirs, your values are different from theirs, so
Mm-hmm.
it's actually dependent on the individual. Divorce is just made available by law for those who may need it. It's up to you if you want to do it or not. Like I said, it could be the last solution for you to preserve yourself. Now, it's very interesting because Philippines ay wala pang divorce.
Mm-hmm.
Aside from Philippines, the only other place na wala pang divorce ay ang Vatican. All the rest may divorce na. So
Wow.
alam ko naman na mayroon ding mga proponents na nagsusulong ng divorce sa Philippines. So we don't know what's gonna happen.
Sa Pilipinas ka ba kinasal?
Siyempre naman.
Alam na, wala nang hiwalayan, ibig
Walang
sabihin.
hiwalayan, ganun for life. 'Di ba? Ngayon, ako, I value relationship and I value family.
Mhm.
I believe you are too, Christian,
Yeah,
right?
and hindi ba, even if you apply for divorce, the court is still gonna try to fix the relationship, or is that
Yeah,
like
there's always that tinatawag yun na cooling off period here in the state of Texas na pwede pa rin kayong mag-usap at malay nyo magkasundo kayo. Because like I said earlier, it should be the last resort. Yung
Mhm.
talagang wala na. If you're not gonna do it, you're leading yourself to self-destruction. Both pareho kayo.
Mm.
And not just the two of you. And if you have children, pati sila madadamay. So minsan kasi we have to think of our, not just yourself, you think
Mhm.
of yourself of course, but in a divorce case kasi mahirap dahil it involves so much emotions and of course relationship,
Mhm.
napakahirap yan, especially kung may mga bata. So you
Mm.
have to think of all these factors, ikaw, sarili mo, self-preservation, mga bata, properties in your business ninyo,
Mm.
everything you have to think about. It's a lot to think about. But of course, like I said, we're not here to um, counsel you.
Mhm.
Well, ano, in a sense, right? Yung
Or we're not encouraging
yeah.
them.
But this is something that you should think about if ever you are thinking of a way out from a
Mm.
difficult situation. Kasi may mga situation na they have to get divorced because sobra na yung pananakit, may
Mm.
involved na violence, domestic violence, and napakahirap yan. So, in order for you to preserve yourself, you gotta have to get out of that situation. Yung toxic talaga, sobrang toxic na relations. Hindi naman yung nag-away lang kayo, divorce na tayo. Ganun,
Mhm.
diba?
Hindi lang nakapagsaing ng kanin bago ka umuwi.
Nasunog mo lang yung itlog, divorce na.
Pag
Hindi
yung
naman
bahay
ganon.
nasunog siguro pwede, pero kung itlog lang.
Pwede rin, di ba? Pero
Oh,
syempre, nasa
meron
sa inyo
tayong
yan.
isang comment. Oh, I guess related to sa, 'di ba? You were married in the Philippines. What if now you're like a US citizen?
Is that a question or is that a statement? Kanino galing yan?
From Mr. Orlando
Kay,
R. Dizon.
kay Attorney Orlando R. Dizon. Sabi niya, I am now a US citizen.
Mhm.
I think, sinasabi lang niya yun. Baka may follow-up question yan.
Oh.
Yeah, so abangan natin yung follow-up question ni Attorney Orlando R. Dizon.
Mhm.
So, now, since pag-usapan na natin ng
Mhm.
divorce, ganyan, if you have any questions or, comments, feel free to post it there sa comment box and we'll try to read them and address your questions if you have questions. And so, Christian,
Mhm.
divorce. Bakit nga ba interesado ka sa divorce, hindi ka pa nga kasal?
Ay, nahila lang ako dito, ha?
Siyempre, bago ka unang-una, hindi ka pwede mag-divorce kung hindi ka kasal.
Totoo.
O, pero may exception.
Oh,
Ito
wow.
interesting to, ha?
Mm.
Kasi dito sa Texas, ay meron kaming tinatawag na common law marriage. So, hindi talaga kayo kasal sa church, hindi talaga kayo kasal sa yung civil wedding, ganyan. Wala kayong pinirmahan na kasulatan, wala. Nagsama lang kayo.
Mhm.
So, dito sa Texas ay merong tinatawag na common law marriage. So, dahil meron tayong tinatawag na common law marriage, pag naghiwalay kayo, gawin nyo rin, kung gusto nyo gawing legal yung hiwalayan ninyo, you go get a divorce. Pero hindi ka naman pwedeng magde-divorce lang na wala kayong ginawa prior to that. So even if there's a common law marriage in the state of Texas, kailangan mo pa rin ipa-declare yung common law marriage mo para ma-recognize siya as a common law marriage. And then, yun, dahil na-recognize siya as a common law marriage, then if you end that marriage, you have to, file for a divorce. Bakit mo gagawin yun? Nagsama lang naman kayo. So, nagsama kayo, di maghiwalay na lang kayo, gano'n.
Oo nga.
Hindi, kasi may mga factors na kailangan mong i-consider. Let's say, for example, nagsama kayo ng 10 years. For sure, nag-commingle yung funds nyo.
Mhm.
For sure, bumili kayo ng bahay or something, ng sasakyan. O nag-increase yung wealth nyo, di ba? Meron kayong income. Dahil ang Texas ay community property, so yung inyong everything that you have purchased, acquired during the marriage, they're considered your your community properties. And dahil community properties yun, may stake kayong dalawa doon. May hatian yon. So pag naghiwalay kayo, paano nyo hahatiin yon? Texas is not 50-50 split. It's not 50-50 split. Ang ibig sabihin nun, yung bahay nyo, hindi nyo hahatiin ng sayo kalahati, sa akin kalahati, automatic, hindi. Texas, the Texas courts, they look into different factors in terms of division of your property. Kung nagkasundo kayo, why not? Pero kung hindi kayo magkasundo at court ang magde-decide kung kanino mapupunta ang bahay, kung kanino mapupunta sa sasakyan, kung kanino mapupunta yung pension mo, 401k mo, kung kanino mapupunta yung jewelry, everything na napundar ninyo during the marriage, if the court will decide, that doesn't mean it's going to be 50-50, because there are factors that the court will consider in order for them to decide what goes to you and what goes to your spouse. So ganon, kaya importante malaman mo yung mga bagay na ito, di ba? Simple lang, parang kasi the common misconception is akin kalahati, sa'yo kalahati.
True.
Di ba? Okay lang yun kung you both agree na kalahati sa'yo, kalahati sa kanya. Pero kung hindi kayo mag-agree, that doesn't mean 50-50 ang gagawin ng judge, ang bibigay ng judge sa inyo, ng court. Okay?
Wow. I guess related pa rin yung estate law dito. So I guess like maganda pa lang sequence
Well, kasi
yung ginagawa
family law,
natin.
family. In my practice, I practice family law. That includes estate planning. Kasi kasama din yung business nyo. Kasi sa divorce, pati yung business niyo, pag-uusapan nyo yan kasi hatiin nyo yan Kasi may stake ka dun sa business, meron din stake yung spouse mo sa business. Paano nyo hatiin yun, diba? So, yun yung some of the factors that siguro naman at this point in time, nag-iisip na kayo.
True.
Oo nga no, diba? Oo nga no, yun. Yung light bulb.
Sige, mag-isip-isip muna kayo. We're gonna go on break and get your questions ready. And after that, we're gonna talk about requirements to file for divorce in Texas.
All right, stick around.
In a world filled with fleeting moments, there's beauty waiting to be captured. My name is Christian, and I specialize in immortalizing your most precious memories. From elegant weddings to vibrant events and timeless portraits, I'm here to make every moment unforgettable. Let me tell your story through the lens. Contact me today and let's create magic together. We're back.
Yes.
So if you have questions, if you've thought out like what you want to ask us during this episode, let us know in the comments. Pero ngayon muna, ano nga bang requirements to file a divorce in Texas?
Of course, merong mga requirements yan, Christian. Hindi ka basta pwede pumunta dito sa Texas. Punta tayo ng Texas, mag-file tayo ng divorce.
Kala magbabakasyon lang, no? Yung pala, divorce.
Magbabakasyon lang. Pero who knows, yung iba pumupunta dito dahil, nagbabalak pala sila mag-file ng divorce. So, ang tanong dyan is, pwede ba silang mag-file ng divorce dito at kailan sila pwedeng mag-file kung hindi man, di ba? So, of course, in the state of Texas, meron tayong tinatawag na residency requirements. Yun ang unang-una kong tinatanong, gaano katagal ka na nakatira sa Texas? Na? So ang unang requirement diyan ay dapat you are a resident of Texas or domiciled ka sa Texas for at least 6 months prior to the filing of your petition for divorce. Sa state of Texas yon. And remember, when you file, ifa-file mo yun sa county mo.
Mhm.
The county requires that you are a resident of that county para makapag-file ka doon for at least 90 days or 3 months prior to the filing of your petition. So 6 months sa Texas, 3 months sa county. Like for example, here in Harris County,
Mm.
di ba? Gaano katagal ka na, may 3 months ka na ba sa Harris County? Then you can file for divorce in Harris County. Pero kung kalilipat mo lang dito, 1 month ka pa lang galing ka ng Fort Bend County, then syempre, hindi ka pa pwede mag-file dito sa Harris, di ba?
So does it mean you have to be working here, or you could just have like a property named after you, and that already includes it?
That's an interesting question. The law says you are a resident. So ibig sabihin dito ka nakatira. You
Mhm.
have the intention to stay here and make it your resident.
Mm.
Ito yung residence mo. Make it your residence county. So, yung nagtatrabaho ka lang dito sa Harris County, let's say for example, that's not, establishing your residency here. So, hindi ka dito pwede mag-file kasi you're just here for work. You have no
Mm.
intention to establish your residence here. So, yun ang difference noon. So, that's a
Mm.
good question actually.
So kailangan like lahat ng may state ID ako, lahat ng mailing address ko nandito, ganun, mga ganun.
Of course, you have to show proof that you are a resident of the county. And of course, you also have to show proof that you are domiciled in the state of Texas. Most of the time, we ask for the driver's license because it's a proof that you are actually residing in the state of Texas. So that's why when we file a petition, we put there your driver's license.
Mm.
Yeah, apart from your social security number, of course, we put it there. Not all, just the last 4 digits or 3 digits. Yeah.
Because yung social security naman, wala namang state na nakasulat, diba? And at least if you apply for your ID or like state ID or driver's license, you already like submit to them like proof of residence and everything. So yeah, makes sense.
Yeah.
Does it have to be like both parties asking for a divorce, or one could
Galing-galing ni
initiate?
Christian,
Siyempre,
nag-iisip talaga
walang
mabuti.
kodigo yan dito
Grabe,
sa baba
wala.
na binabasa.
So, interesting question kasi actually dyan ang maraming mga involved ang immigrants. So, for example, galing ka ng Philippines, nag-move ka sa Texas, yung asawa mo, yung spouse mo, naiwan sa Philippines. And let's say lang na comply mo yung requirements. Yung residency right, nandito ka na sa Texas for 1 year, and then yung 90 days residency sa county, na-comply mo yon, pwede ka bang mag-file? Ang sagot doon is yes, you can file. Kasi nga you're able to comply the residency requirement. So it doesn't matter even if your the other spouse is not located here. O kahit naman let's say lang, wag na tayong lumayo sa Philippines, no? Yung spouse mo nasa Florida. O dati kayo nakatira sa Florida, pumunta ka dito sa Texas, and you're able to comply the residency requirement, then you can file it here.
Does it matter where you were married? Do you have to be married here in the US, or pag sa Pilipinas, ano kaya yun?
Not necessarily na dito kayo kinasal. Basta na-comply mo yung requirements and the court is able to acquire jurisdiction over the other spouse, then yes, it can continue. When I say the court is able to acquire jurisdiction, ibig sabihin, let's say for example, hindi nakatira dito yung other spouse, you have to serve the other spouse of the petition. Service yon, service of process. So, ano yung service of process? So, papadalan mo yung spouse mo, kung nasa naman siya, let's say nasa Philippines, nung copy of the petition. At syempre, ang magpapadala nun, yung citation ng tawag doon, pero sa summons ang tawag doon, diba? Isa-serve yun personally doon sa other spouse kung alam nila yung address, diba?
Ito yung nasa pelikula na palagi, diba? Kunwari magde-deliver lang ng pagkain, Uber, tapos yung pala suservan ka na para kunwari. Para alam na ikaw talaga
kanya-kanyang yun. Kanya-kanyang style.
Na-try mo na ba yun?
Ako mag-serve? Hindi
ako mag-serve. Na-try mo yun, may iba kang pagsuservan na tapos patago mo or medyo iba, hindi sila out, like halatang halata na magsuserve, ganyan.
Usually yung mga private process servers, ginagawa nila yon. There's one case na very ano siya, controversial. Ano siya, I think parang award ano yun eh, parang it's a show, nasa show siya. Tapos habang nasa station na serve siya, I can't remember this. It's very
Wow.
famous. So yeah, so yun na, style ng process server yun. Pero dito sa Texas, usually ang nagse-serve ng ano ng mga ng citation tsaka yung copy of the petition for divorce, I'm sheriff or constable, ganyan.
Mhm.
So ngayon, kapag sumuko ng sheriff or constable sa pagse-serve personally, we sometimes hire private process server. Yan.
Yeah, I'm
Sila yung mas
available if
more
any.
aggressive yan.
I'm available
Yeah,
if you
pero
need
syempre
someone.
kailangan,
Oh, there's
you are
requirements.
qualified. Oo. Hindi ka naman basta-basta, pumunta ka doon na nag-serve, di ba?
We do have a question from Michelle Daseco. Thank you for always listening and supporting. In a high conflict divorce, is there a cheap divorce? What are the alternatives to traditional litigation for resolving a divorce, such as mediation or collaborative law?
High
Oh.
conflict. Actually, dyan papasok yung the discussion natin ng two types of not really types, but two common types of divorce here in the state of Texas. We have the contested divorce and the uncontested divorce. So what's the difference between the two? Contest,
Oo
parang
nga,
singing
may
contest ba
nananalo
ito?
sa isa, may nananalo.
That's just a term, but ibig sabihin lang nun, yung uncontested divorce, yung nagkasundo kayo sa lahat ng mga issues. So, meron na kayong nagkasundo kayo sa hatian ng properties, nagkasundo kayo sa custody ng mga bata, nagkasundo kayo sa child support. Kumbaga, wala na kayong pagtatalunan pa when you go to court. Uncontested yon. So, madali lang ma-resolve yun. Usually, nare-resolve yun through negotiation between parties or sometimes mediation. Kasi una muna yan, when you file the petition for divorce, you'll have the opportunity to talk to each other. Yung either kayong dalawa o yung mga attorneys ninyo, hey, ano ba to? Meron na ba tayong, pwede ba nating maayos yung mga issues dito? So halimbawa, ang property niyo lang naman ay yung bahay. Sabi ng spouse na isa, you know what, I'm not interested sa kanya na yung bahay. Di tapos yung issue lang sa bahay,
Yeah.
di ba? So okay naman yung mga bata or walang mga anak, let's say walang mga anak. So wala kailang i-settle na issue about child custody and child support. So mabilis lang matapos 'yon. Ngayon nagkakaroon lang ng mediation kapag hindi magkasundo yung mga parties na talagang you know what, hindi ilalaban ko yung bahay dahil ako nagbayad diyan, wala kang binayad diyan. Yung isa naman sabi niya, hindi nga ako nagbayad dahil wala akong trabaho noon, pero ako naman ang nag-asikaso sa bahay,
True,
'di ba
true.
gano'n? So, kaya sila yun yung pagka hindi nila na-resolve yung issue na yon, magiging contested yon. Pag na-resolve nila lang ang issue, uncontested. Pag hindi nila, mayroon silang isang issue na hindi na-resolve, then it becomes contested. Anong mangyayari pag contested? Then you go to litigation, you go to court, you
And
fight it out.
that's when it gets more and more expensive.
That's when it gets more expensive because then there'll be litigation, there'll be discovery, you have to show proof. You probably will need to bring in some witnesses to prove your to convince the court to grant your request. Ganyan.
And this is when like both parties try to get the most out of what's left, right?
Yeah, sometimes it's not really, the sad thing is sometimes it's not to get the most out of it. It's just,
To make it
to make it
painful.
more difficult to the other
Right?
party,
Oh.
'di ba? Yung like for example, pag-away nyo ba naman pati yung trash can? Siyempre naman, 'di ba? Or yung mga collectibles niyo na beanie bags. I mean, beanie toys,
Parang
stuffed
nangyari na to
toys.
parang
Oo. O kaya yung pet nyo, wag nyo namang hatiin yung pet nyo, please
no.
lang. Magkasundo kayo.
Visitation rights, ganyan.
O kaya yung mga halaman mo, 'di ba? Mga ganyan.
Paano naman kapag one party ay gusto na divorce, isang party naman hindi?
Okay, that's a very interesting question because that I can probably tell you a story. So sa mga na-handle kong divorce case, the other party doesn't want to get a divorce. Well, yun ang kanyang declaration, right? So yung spouse, yung isang spouse, so pag-general na lang natin, diba? wanted to file a divorce, the other one doesn't want to.
Mhm.
So, mapipigilan ba nung spouse na isa ang divorce? Pwedeng yes, pwedeng no. Okay, pwedeng yes kapag nag-reconcile sila.
Mhm.
So, after na-file na yung petition, ng divorce, na-realize nung nag-file ng petition na bigyan ng chance yung isa,
Wow. Is that a common occurrence?
no. No. Kasi, kasi ganito yung Christian eh. Hindi madali ang decision ng divorce. Hindi yung nag-away lang sila, magde-divorce na sila. Kasi may kasamang gastos yan at saka emotion. So, bago pa mag-file yung spouse na yan ng divorce, na yan, years and years and years na yan na pinag-iisipan, na inaayos, they're trying to fix it.
Mhm.
And it's just getting worse. It's really not working. It's just getting worse. So, kaya ko sinabing last solution yon. So, hindi yung 2 weeks ago lang sila nag-away, tamang may hinala lang yung isa, magde-divorce na. Hindi, years and years na yan. Marami ng emotion ang na-invest. Marami na ring efforts ang ginawa ng dalawang parties to reconcile it, hindi lang nag-work. So ngayon, kaya sabi kong it's not common na nagre-reconcile sila. Now in this case naman, the other spouse, ayaw niya ng divorce. So ayaw niya makikooperate. As a matter of fact, in this case na sinasabi ko, during the hearing, during our mediation, may dala pang flower yung
Wow.
yung other spouse.
Gumana?
Hindi, syempre.
Kulang.
Hindi gumana yun. Flowers na walang chocolate. Pero, yun. And then, hindi namin naayos yung issue because the other spouse doesn't want to get divorced. We're trying to fix the issues, yung hatian ng mga properties. That's the purpose of mediation. Hindi yun reconciliation. Okay, ang
Allergic
mediation,
pala siya sa bulaklak.
Mali
Hindi
yun
niya
nga.
nakalimutan. So, lalong naghiwalay talaga.
Tulips yung favorite niya. Binigay niya rose, di ba? Pero hindi, kidding aside. So, during the hearing pa, he asked to sing in court.
Oh,
for
wow.
the, di ba?
We
Parang
talked about
harana.
this, yeah.
But of course, the
Wow.
judge didn't allow that because, we are in a legal proceeding. So, at the end, of course, we're able to get the divorce decree. And dahil nga hindi siya nakipagkasundo, so we have to show proof, yung hatian ng properties, that's not what they decided together. It's what the court decided, what to give to the other spouse and what not to give to the other spouse. So ngayon, after the hearing, hindi na rin kayo pwedeng mag-reconcile yan kasi may order ng court. Kung ano yung sinabi ng court na sayo, sayo. Sa kanya, sa kanya.
And then what happens kung pinipilit pa rin, what if like yung house napunta sa'yo, pero pinipilit pa rin ng
Then you
partner
go
mo?
back to the court. You bring the other spouse to the court. Kasi, you're not, in that case, court order na ang bina-violate mo. So, kalaban mo na yung court niyan because you are not following the order anymore. So, i-enforce na ngayon yun. So, there's another step to that. But yun lang, sinasabi ko na if the other spouse is so determined to get that divorce, the other spouse cannot stop that in a sense. The only way that the other spouse can stop it is kung magkasundo sila, they both agree to withdraw the petition. So until, unless they both agree, diba? So yung kung may isa na hindi, ayaw niya, hindi mo mapipigilan ng divorce. It will happen. Just, just cooperate para mabawasan para hindi na maging complicated.
True.
At syempre, hindi maging magastos yung divorce nyo.
All right. Well, after the break, we're gonna talk about how long does it take to have a divorce in Texas. So after this short break, stick around.
See ya.
Get ready for the ultimate showdown of tax debt battle. In one corner, we have the relentless tax resolutionist, armed with years of experience and an arsenal of strategies to take down even the toughest tax problems. And in the other corner, it's the IRS, known for its formidable regulations and strict enforcement. Watch as the tax resolutionist steps into the ring, armed not with gloves, but with an unbeatable knowledge of tax laws, negotiation tactics, and a determination to fight for your financial well-being. With each calculated move, they dodge and weave through complex tax codes, landing powerful punches of deductions and exemptions. As the match heats up, the tax resolutionist uses their unmatched skills to knock out the IRS's demands, one by one. With precision and expertise, they navigate the ring of audits and penalties, delivering blows of compromise and settlement that leave the IRS reeling. In this nail-biting match, it's not about physical strength, but about mental prowess and strategic thinking. The tax resolutionists' dedication to their clients is evident as they fight tooth and nail for a knockout victory against the IRS, securing financial freedom and peace of mind. Witness the triumph of knowledge over intimidation, experience over bureaucracy, and innovation over convention. When you're facing a tax challenge that seems insurmountable, trust the tax resolutionist to step into the ring and deliver a knockout blow to your tax troubles.
All right. Yeah. If you need, it's tax season. So if you need assistance with your tax issues, call Attorney Orly. So, yeah. So before the break, we were about to ask how long does it, or yeah, how long does it take to file a divorce in Texas?
Okay, so we can't really tell how long it will take. It depends on the gravity, it depends on the complexity of the issues. If it's a simple divorce, it's probably not going to last for more than, I don't know, 3 months.
Oh, well, that's
But
still a
you,
long time. I
yeah,
was
well,
hoping like one day you go to court and it's done.
no, no, no. That's not going to happen. Why? Because there is a cooling off period of 60 days. So that means when you file the petition for divorce, the judge will not act on it. The judge will not issue a decision until after 60 days.
Mhm.
So what are you going to do during the 60-day period? That's your opportunity to settle all the issues. You have, of
Mhm.
course, serve the other party and then come up with a settlement agreement. Now, if you can't come up with a settlement agreement, then that's when the court may order for mediation. So at least give you another chance to settle the issues. The last thing that the court would wanted to do in your divorce case is to decide for you. They
Mhm.
would rather have you decide for yourselves because that's your life. Those are your children. Those are your properties. So if it's possible that you settle the issues, that's why they will order mediation. Sometimes they will order not just one, but also twice or even more than uh, two mediations, as long as there is a chance that that you can come up with a settlement. So then, humahaba, tumatagal because of this. Ngayon, kung nagkasundo kayo agad, then the judge can issue an order after 60 days. That means two
Mm.
months. And of course, give time for, adjustment. So kaya sinabi ko mga around three months maybe, the shortest. And the longest, I don't know. It depends on how complex, how you are fighting tooth and nails with
Right.
each other. Up to the last, I don't know, item in your house you're fighting over. So it will drag on and on and on. And it's just going to be more complicated and more expensive.
Are there couples who like after the cool off period they just cancel their application or no, not
Yeah, I
really?
mean, well, not in my case, but
Mm-hmm.
it's possible as long as there's no decision yet, like there's no final order yet. You can always withdraw that petition, as long as you both are in
Mm.
agreement.
We do have a question from Attorney Orly Dizon. What insights have you gained from your experience handling multiple divorce cases, and how has it impacted your personal life? Oh.
Grabe naman. Sobra naman yan. Ano ba
Ba't daw
yan?
pag umuwi ka,
Bakit
parang
mo ako
ano?
tinatanong niyan? Okay. Well, hindi we cannot really avoid sometimes na maapektuhan because these are people
Mm.
and these are their lives. And of course, sometimes you can relate, with your own personal life. But of course, we have to stay professional.
Mhm.
So we need to know our boundaries. We need to know that we're here for our clients. We have the knowledge of the law. So, yun yung kailangan mong itulong sa client mo. Now, insights, I realized that um, talaga namang walang perfect relationship. Ngayon, katulad kayo na nabanggit ko, hindi naman ang divorce ay overnight lang nagdesisyon na sila they're gonna go get a divorce. Okay?
Mhm.
It's a long process, years and years and years of um, emotional roller coaster yan. And of course, remember na couples, siyempre they love each other. They started amazingly, right? They
Mhm.
love each other, and then at some point na unti-unting nawawala yung love dahil natatabunan ng hatred,
Mhm.
or nakikilala mo yung spouse mo, hindi pala kayo talaga compatible,
Mhm.
ganyan. So there's no easy in a divorce case, walang panalo, parehong talo
Mhm.
because nag-fail right? Ngayon ginagawa mo lang 'yun is dahil gusto mong i-preserve yung sarili mo.
Mhm.
Maybe you can stay friends. Maybe some of them, they can do that. Dahil naayos nila lahat ng differences nila, and, it could be for the good or for the best of both parties and the children. Sometimes din yung mga bata, sila na rin yung nagsasabi sa parents nila na, just go get a divorce.
Mhm.
Dahil nakikita nila yung mga
Wow.
nangyayari. And I've seen this sa mga bata because yung buhay nila naiiba na eh. Kahit na anong age ng bata, ng anak nyo, whether minor pa yan o hindi na, they will definitely get affected by the divorce.
Mhm.
Ngayon iisipin mo na lang, ano yung gravity? Do
Mhm.
you want to stay in a chaotic or toxic marriage na nagsasuffer kayong lahat? Or get out of that situation and try to live your life
Mhm.
again, start all over again. Ngayon kung bumalik ang dating ano ba 'yun, tinginan,
Oh, wow.
pagtitinginan, 'di
Uy,
ba? Puwede ba
ibalik.
kayong magpakasal ulit? Why not? Of course, you can
Mhm.
always remarry each other. If you realize na, "Wait a minute, nami-miss ko na siya, mahal ko pa rin pala talaga siya." So you can always remarry.
Wow. And if anything, does it make you realize like, oh, you're handling all of these divorces? Does it like you learn lessons of like what not to do in your
O
relationships,
siyempre naman,
right?
we
Diba?
always learn something from somebody, right?
Mhm. Mhm.
So, meron din ako mga realizations in life about marriage, about children, about how to handle challenges in life. Meron din 'yan. We learn from our experience, 'di ba?
Mhm. I guess like isang part nitong tanong na to ay parang kasi pag nasa court parang wala nang feelings, 'di ba? Wala nang feelings or parang it's seen as a weakness, 'di ba? So parang pag nasa ganitong cases parang it's hard to see each other as like minsan na parang na dating magkaibigan kayo na parang mag-aaway na lang kayo pero
Are you talking about the spouses?
or pareho I mean even as a lawyer, 'di ba? Parang
Okay.
mahirap din i-separate na of course yung values mo ayaw mo rin na may naghihiwalay na ibang tao, 'di ba? So parang talagang ikaw rin maiisip mo na siguro nga ito ang best sa inyo or baka hindi or 'di ba?
Si Christian masyadong malalim, deep. May
I guess
pinanggugutan ka ba,
wala.
Christian? Pero ang totoo niyan is, tama ka naman din sa some part sa mga sinabi mo na ah, hindi mo ma-separate yung sarili mo minsan, 'di ba? Pero ito lang masasabi ko, hindi porket poker face yung
Mhm.
abogado mo, wala na silang feelings o wala silang nararamdaman. We feel everything. But we're there to advocate for our clients. So we have to, represent our clients zealously, fight for our clients' rights. Yun yung nakikita ninyo. Kaya parang sabi niyo, parang ano naman 'to, walang puso, ganyan.
Mm.
Pero ang totoo niyan, malaki ang puso namin.
And I think
That's why we're there, because we care for our clients, we advocate for our clients. We're talking about rights,
mhm.
protected rights ng client namin, and of course the kids, mga bata.
And I feel like this helps na if you get a lawyer that's from the same culture as you, kunwari Pinoy ka, Pinoy din yung lawyer mo, pareho kayo na values, di ba? Pareho kayo na hindi mo na kailangan magpaliwanag na tinry mo. Na alam naman din ng lawyers na pag Pinoy, talagang tight family values, di ba? So,
Well, meron naman din advantage yun, of course,
mhm,
because at some point you can relate to your clients. I can relate to my clients. The client can relate to me. They can speak to me in their language.
mhm,
They can be open, and we encourage them to be open para maintindihan namin ng lahat, and we can advocate for them
mhm,
100% kung alam namin lahat, 'di ba? No surprises, ganyan. Pero syempre, that doesn't mean hindi rin magagawa ng ibang lawyers.
mm.
I think it depends on kung sino yung kausap mo, kung sino yung attorney.
Wow. Meron pa tayong isang tanong from Attorney Orlando
Ang dami naman
Dizon.
tanong ni Mr. Orlando Dizon.
What is the reasoning? I think you kind of mentioned this earlier. What is the reasoning behind the statement that no one truly wins in a divorce and family law litigation cases? But first, another break.
Okay,
All
sige.
right. After this break, we'll answer that question.
Stick around.
All right, we're back. Thank you again for all the viewers. If you're viewing on Facebook or YouTube, let us know in the comments what you think and if you have other questions as well. All right.
Yes. And so, ano yung question kanina, Christian, bago tayo
Uh,
nag-break?
what is the reasoning behind the statement that no one truly wins in a divorce and in divorce and family law litigation cases?
Wala talagang mananalo dyan. Kasi
Mhm.
sino ba naman ang mananalo sa divorce? Parehong talo yan eh. I mentioned that earlier. Kasi there's a failure in the marriage. And then, there will be separation.
Mhm.
I think what others are thinking about nanalo or hindi is nakuha mo yung gusto mo.
Yeah.
Diba? Let's say, for example, yung spouse, si spouse A, nakuha niya lahat ng custody ng mga bata. Si
Mhm.
spouse B, pinaglalaban niya yung custody. Kaso binigay kay A.
Mhm.
So siguro yun yung masasabi mo na but it's really not a win because the kids are gonna suffer either way.
Mm.
Diba? They will, at the end of the day, they have a broken family. At the end of the day, they're not gonna be going home with, mom and dad.
Mhm.
Diba? So that's why yun yung kaya natin sinasabing wala talaga, there's no winner in a divorce case.
May naisip ko isa.
Gumagana yung utak ni Christian.
Yung
Go, Christian, go!
asawa ni Jeff Bezos na meron siyang
Oo.
$40 billion nung nag-divorce sila.
Oo.
I guess para kung ako yun, feeling ko nanalo na rin ako. Di ba? Another comment from Nielsen Jewel. Will a divorce filed by a spouse in Texas be recognized in the Philippines?
Very good question, Nelson Jewel. So focus tayo sa Philippines, right?
Mhm.
We said earlier that there's no divorce in the Philippines. So how can a divorce be recognized? But it is, yes, they do. They can, as long as the divorce decree was validly obtained in the country where there is a divorce. And sinabi ko nga kanina, di ba? Pilipinas na lang ang walang divorce maliban sa Vatican. So ngayon, if you are married in the Philippines, and you go to a country where there is a divorce law, and you are you are qualified to file for divorce in that jurisdiction in that country, then you can validly obtain a divorce decree. Now, be very careful on this one, not all though, because meron pa din tayong tinatawag na citizenship.
Mhm. Yes.
Kung pareho kayong Filipino citizens ng spouse mo, for sure, it will not be recognized in the Philippines because there's no divorce in the Philippines. And the nationals, the citizens of the Philippines, the law of the Philippines follow their nationals, their citizens. So kahit pumunta sila dito sa US, Pilipino pa rin sila, mag-divorce sila dito, dalawa, let's say pareho silang pumunta ng US, let's say na they were able to comply with the residency requirements, natapos yung divorce dito, although it's validly obtained here, it will still not be recognized in the Philippines because they're both Filipinos. So their laws will not, recognize that. However, it's different when the other spouse is not a Filipino citizen. For example, US citizen.
Mhm.
Diba? Or Filipino siya dati na naging US citizen na siya,
Or
na-renounce
dual
niya.
citizen.
There's a still controversy in dual
Mm.
citizens kasi pag dual citizen ka kasi, dual citizenship ka, Filipino ka pa rin.
Yeah.
So Philippines will apply the Philippine law. So
Wow.
may not. Yeah. So wala pa, hindi pa masyadong ano doon. Kumbaga parang it's not yet set, it's set in stone ang batas tungkol dyan. Still a gray area yung mga dual citizens natin. So, let's say ang situation is the other one is a US citizen and the other spouse is a Filipino citizen.
Mhm.
So, the US citizen can get a divorce here and have it recognized in the Philippines. So, if it's recognized in the Philippines, the Filipino spouse can also remarry because it
Oh,
will be
okay.
recognized. You will be released from that bond. But if no, but you have to have it recognized. Hindi ka basta-basta na lang magpakasal diyan dahil na-divorce na kayo dito. And recognition of divorce in the Philippines is a legal process, so you will need an attorney to obtain that.
So do they like have to be even in the same room as the process goes on? Kasi di ba servan mo ng kaso yung
Mm.
nasa Pilipinas. Do they have to like settle it together or pwede na lang yung lawyer sa Pilipinas at the lawyer dito yung mag-uusap?
You mean if final dito?
Mhm.
If it's filed here, you need an attorney here, not a
Mhm.
Philippine attorney, because that Philippine attorney has no jurisdiction to practice here. So if you want to be represented in the court of law here in Texas or any of the states, you have to hire an attorney here para i-represent ka.
And what's the process? Is that like you have to go here to the US physically or you can just have
Well,
someone?
depende doon sa court, at saka
Mhm.
depende doon sa issue na nire-resolve ninyo. Because kung mapagkasunduan niyo naman lahat, we call it uncontested, then the other party here can just prove it up kasi nagkasundo na kayo sa lahat. Ngayon, kapag magkakaroon ng litigation na talagang litigation, hindi kayo nagkasundo, you'll fight
Mm.
for it, you gotta have to be here to fight for it.
Wow. Another question from attorney Orlando Dizon. Very interested in
Oo nga,
divorce,
ano
huh?
ba ha?
Which is more likely to be the most successful practicing divorce attorney? A divorce attorney who has personally experienced divorce or one who is happily married? Oh.
Napaka-ano naman yang tanong na yan, pang Miss Universe.
What is the essence of
Oo
divorce?
nga, 'di ba? Okay, so i-dissect nga natin yung question niya. Ano yung unang question niya?
Mas magaling ka ba ang divorce attorney na personally nag-divorce na or hindi pa naman?
So parang na-experience na ng
Mhm.
divorce versus doon sa
Sa hindi walang experience sa divorce or not
happily
personally
married.
na-divorce. Yeah, happily married.
It's hard to say. You can't really tell because it depends on the knowledge of the attorney. It depends on the dedication of that attorney. It depends on the experience of the attorney. That just because you experience divorce doesn't mean you can very well represent your client. Um, as opposed to one who is still happily married and representing clients in a case of divorce. Pero ito naman is well knowledgeable, went to updated sa law,
Mhm.
So it's really it's actually dependent on the skill set ng attorney
Mhm.
na magre-represent sa'yo. At some point siguro merong yung if nag-undergo na ng divorce, meron siya experience na may contribute to understand the process to deal with the client. But that doesn't mean that one who's happily married, wala rin. Because
Mhm.
this happily married also has gained experience and knowledge from other clients na divorce na. So it
Mhm.
depends on the attorney.
Oh yeah,
Really.
kasi yung iba din, siguro multiple divorce na rin yung pinagdaanan nila, di ba? So mas marami sila experience personally at saka yung na-hold nila.
Yeah, pero syempre, remember, it involves emotion.
Mm.
And you cannot think well if your emotion is high. Kaya nga
Mm.
dapat, even if, let's say for example, an attorney na nagpa-practice ng divorce, nagpa-practice ng divorce, ay magde-divorce herself, it's not wise for that attorney to represent herself
Mm.
because her emotion or his emotion, whatever, is high. hindi ka makakapag-isip ng tama. Only fools represent themselves. You have to still get another attorney to represent you. So, yun.
Ngayon medyo malapit na tayo matapos. Ito na yung mga walang kwenta kong tanong.
Tatanong mo pa ba yan?
Is there a limit of like how many times you can get divorced?
No.
Does it affect you, like, if you're trying to get married again, like legally? Is there like a repercussions of like, oh, you've had too many divorces?
Actually, I have to qualify that. I will say it depends. If you're thinking about, it depends on the situation of the person who got married many times and got divorced many times. And I'm thinking about in relation to immigration. Yeah, diba? Yung mga US citizen na nag-asawa ng non-US citizen, they get married, they divorce, they get married again, they divorce. So if there's
Negosyo na yun, diba?
if there's a pattern, if there's a pattern, and you're doing it like several times, may red flag na yon. So if it's for immigration process or benefits, they'll scrutinize that application. Is red flag na yon. So they will scrutinize it. Is this really an authentic divorce? Pwede namang authentic talaga. Hindi nag-workout eh. What I'm saying is that, meron lang siyang some level of scrutiny sa application mo. Ngayon, pag napatunayan na ginagawa mong MO yan,
Modus operandi.
Oo, yeah. Lagot ka. Because that's marriage fraud. And mahirap ang marriage fraud. Please don't ever get involved in that. You may be able to escape or malusutan mo sa simula or for the next 5 years or 10 years of your life. That doesn't mean hindi lalabas ang totoo. At pag lumabas ang totoo later on, it doesn't matter how long ka na US citizen, they can revoke that. And also all the other persons who benefited from that marriage, I married revoked, they're also gonna be affected. So
Yeah, pasensya na sa mga ka-dating app ko sa Pilipinas. Sorry na lang. Hindi pala pwede. Wala na, yung deposit nyo hindi nyo na makukuha.
Again, no refund.
isa pa walang kwenta tanong para
sige.
sa akin. Sa Pilipinas, uso naman annulment. What's the difference and can they do that here? Or?
Well, meron din naman annulment dito. But, sa Philippines, there's no divorce, only annulment. And bakit annulment? Hindi lang legal separation. Kasi they're hoping na if they get their annulment approved or granted, they can remarry, di ba? That's the purpose of that. Para they can, in a sense, parang divorce siya. But since, Philippines, walang divorce yan, ginawa nilang annulment, hindi madaling makuha ang annulment. Hindi madali. It may be granted in the lower court, but remember, it's automatic appeals sa Court of Appeals ng government. So, it will still be under review. Kaya tumatagal yan. Paano kung na-grant ka nga sa regional trial court, ba? Tapos na-deny ka sa appeal sa Court of Appeals. Paano na yun? Di kasal ka pa din, hindi ka pa rin makaka-move on. So, actually, I received those questions sa mga nag-iisip na mas okay ba, attorney? Na nandito sila, di ba? Nag-file ako ng annulment sa Philippines o kumuha lang ako ng divorce dito. So, syempre, marami akong tanong, di ba? Pagka gano'n, like, ano na ba, US citizen ka ba? Filipino ka pa rin ba? Because, syempre, kahit na mag-divorce ka dito at Filipino ka, Filipino yung spouse mo, hindi ma-recognize sa Philippines under the Philippine law, ka pa rin, kasal ka. But, they still do it because immigration ay iba. If you get divorced here, even if you are Filipino citizen and you got a divorce here in the state of Texas, okay? Dito sa Texas, for immigration purposes, divorce ka na. So you can marry here. You can get married here with a US citizen and then later on adjust your status. Get a green card and become a US citizen. Pero yung spouse mo sa Philippines, sorry na lang, walang divorce sa Philippines, you will still be married legally. So, hindi siya pwedeng magpakasal yung spouse sa Philippines. Pero yung spouse dito, wala na, nag-move on na.
Wow, okay. Kung
Diba?
gusto mo parusahan talaga yung
Grabe naman. Ikaw bakit parang
Igalit.
may revenge ang mo.
Wala.
napag-iisip ako dito. Ano pa yung walang kwenta mong
Ay,
tanong?
ang bilis ng
Dali.
oras eh. Actually, wala na tayong oras.
Wala ka nang walang kwentang
Meron
tanong?
pa next time. Meron pa next time actually.
Yeah, actually, maraming pwedeng mapag-usapan. Alam ko na this is just the beginning. It's just like an overview of divorce here in the state of Texas, and of course, in relation to sa ating mga kababayan sa Philippines. Dahil marami tayong mga kababayan na, involved sa ganitong process. At saka syempre yung mga nandiyan sa Philippines nandito na yung mga spouses nila na hindi nila alam kung ano na sila, kasal pa ba sila o hindi, di ba? So overview ang divorce, abangan nyo sa ating mga succeeding episodes. We'll talk more about it, and we'll talk about the issues, we'll talk about the process. Ano pa ba, Christian? We'll talk
We have
about
grounds
the
for
grounds.
divorce, challenges, and processing and filing, child custody, child support, division of assets.
Wala pa
Dami.
tayo sa talaga mga issues ng divorce. Mahirap yung child custody, yan, at saka yung division of assets. Kasi minsan may assets ka dito, may property kayo dito, may property din kayo sa Philippines. Paano na, di ba? So, yes. And of course, dahil tapos na ang time natin, we will reserve all those discussions and questions. Prepare your questions when we see each other again next month, which is the last Wednesday of April. And what is the date of the last Wednesday of April?
That's
Abangan nyo
gonna
kami.
be April 24th.
April 24th, we're going to talk more about divorce. So, like and follow. If hindi nyo pa nagagawa, and subscribe, Lawin Media Network Facebook page and YouTube channel, so you will be updated and you will get a notification if we have a live show. And also, para hindi nyo makalimutan na mag-tune in sa April 24, let's talk about divorce again.
All right. Thank you to all the viewers and on Facebook and YouTube and everywhere.
Maraming salamat, Philippines. Maraming salamat, Texas, especially here sa Houston, Greater Houston region where we are located. So if you have any questions, save them sa next nating episode dahil wala na kaming time sumagot ngayon.
All right. Thank you so much. Bye.
Bye. See you next time. Have a good one.